thing. Have you joined? Question till here? Okay. Any question till here? Especially to Pravalika, because everyone else know this thing. Have you joined?
Yeah. No questions.
Okay. Okay. Now, let's move forward to now. Let's talk about the modules. Now, we have the major modules. Out of them, we have a module called FI and a CO. Let's understand what does FI and CO do, because without this I cannot explain FICA. So financial accounting takes care of all the financial reporting part. That means whatever financial transaction has taken place. Financial transaction means any exchange where money is involved. That means it can talk about purchase, it can talk about sale, it can talk about any expenses, any profit, any loss, any discount. All the, say the company, say in your company you have say 300 employees. Now the company must purchase 300 laptops. So these are all assets. So whenever these assets are purchased, now the expenses, it's like an some cash outflow happens, and the asset gets, asset inflow happens. So all these are recorded in the financial accounting, because at a particular periodic interval the company needs to publish that how much revenue or how much sales has taken place, how much expense has taken place, what is the profit, and compare the profit from previous month to this month or previous quarter to this quarter, q on q, y on y. That means year on year, what is the improvement, quarter on quarter, what is the improvement. This is a legal requirement for every public company. Public company means the companies whose shares are traded in the stock exchange. So I'm talking about Zomato. Zomato is a public company, but Swiggy is not a public company. Maybe who are not even in, who I think everybody here are Indian. So you must have heard about these two companies. So Swiggy is not a public company. So Swiggy does not require to publish financial statements. That means Swiggy may not publish what is the sales. But Zomato, being a public company, has to publish every quarter that this is the sale. Can I request everyone to go mute? If you have a question, you can unmute or you can raise your hand. Then you can ask question. Thank you so much. So financial accounting, it publishes all the financial transaction, whatever financial transaction has taken place as a mandatory requirement to the stock exchange, it has to publish. This is what the financial accounting does. Now, what does the controlling do? Controlling also generate reports, but it is for internal managerial decision. This report does not go outside of the company. Okay, it is not mandatory to go outside of the company. It is for internal requirement. What is that? Say the company wants to identify, I have three types of product. What are the cost of this product? If they want to identify what are the cost of this product, then that costing happens within controlling. There is a there is a division under controlling which is called product costing, that determines what is the cost of the product. Because if I cannot find out the cost of the product correctly, then I cannot determine the sales price. For example, suppose I am uh, I am a street shop, street side, QSR. I run a QSR shop. People ask. I mean, the people want like chow mein, egg roll, chicken roll, all those things I prepare. If somebody tells what is the how much for one chicken roll, I'll see, okay, the shop next to me is charging 60 rupees, I'll also charge 60 rupees. No, this is not the case. I must identify what is my cost, then I must tell the selling price. It should not be like, okay, they are charging 60, I have to charge 60. I have to find out whether I am making the product within 60. It may happen that I am making the product at 65. If I identify the cost properly, which they don't, the vendors, street side vendors don't. If they identify properly, it may happen that they are actually preparing the food at 65, but they are bound to sell at 60. Every day they are losing money. So it may also happen. That's why the controlling ensures that the costs are properly identified. Now once the cost is properly identified, then from that it will identify, okay, which product is giving me more profit, I should concentrate on preparing that product only. For example, let's talk about Samsung. Samsung has how many product? TV, AC, mobile, washing machine, then say microwave. Okay, now Samsung will identify what is the profit of each of the product. It will identify, okay, I mean, say here their profit is say 15%, here say 10%, here 25%, washing machine say 18%, and say microwave only 5%. So Samsung will realize, okay, let's decommission microwave. It is only giving me 5% profit. For 5%, for only 5% profit, it is not worth doing all the effort. Let's decommission the microwave department and let's focus. Let's move all the resources into. Let's manufacture more mobiles or washing machine, because these two, mobile and washing machine, is giving me the highest returns. Maybe or maybe let's switch to mobile. So this kind of internal managerial decision is taken place from controlling. Okay, so this is not required that how much profit is, I mean, internally how much profit is each product is providing. So this is for controlling internal managerial costing, managerial profitability analysis, like which segment is more profitable and which segment is lower profitable. Like for example, in this example, uh, let's move the microwave. Let's not continue microwave because it is giving me a single digit return. Let's whatever assets I have, let's sell all those assets, and the technicians, let's move it to maybe AC or mobile or something. Okay, so this is what the controlling does. Now what is, you understood what is FI, you understood what is CO, then let's understand what is contract accounting, financial accounting, contract account, receivable, payable. FICA is a sub module of FI, mostly FI, little bit of CO. What is that? So if your number of clients, if your number of customers are huge, that means you have a very high volume transactions every single day, then it is very difficult in FI to control all the transaction. Before we had FICA, industries like utility, just understand, say wherever whatever city you are located, so in that city there is some company which is providing electricity, which is providing gas, which is providing, maybe water is not taxed in India but it is taxed in other countries. Sorry, not taxed, it is chargeable in other countries. So whatever electricity is being consumed, think of that company's point of view, how many customer do they have. If the if that company is providing electricity throughout that, only in that state, I'm not talking about, let's talk about only city. Even in a city, how many customer will be there, and every customer has some customers bill should be due on, on each day, at least 10,000 customers bill will be due, that needs to be printed, payment will take place, the payment should be posted. So all this activity FI cannot handle, because whenever there are high volume transaction happens, FI cannot handle. Okay, so FI has lot of subdivision. One is called accounts receivable, another is called accounts payable, there is something called asset accounting, there is like treasury kind of thing, maybe banking. So different departments they have. Now I'm talking about accounts receivable. Now in accounts receivable, where if I can work, for example, normal, say you are placing an order from a in a retail company. Your the company is running a retail or e-commerce business where the transactions are less. Because think about Amazon, people will place order, then they will place the order and they will, it will not be a repetitive order. But electricity, every month they will consume electricity. Okay, or Wi-Fi or telco, telecommunication, every month they will recharge. If you are recharging for Geo for 3 months, after 3 months again you will recharge your mobile. Or if you have mobile, if you have Wi-Fi at your home, every month you will recharge, so the transaction will be repeated. but in retail or maybe in e-commerce it may not be repeated, right? So you'll buy a mobile, and after 6 months if your headphone doesn't work, then again you will place an order for headphone, but every month you will not consume. So whenever the volume is high and the transactions are repetitive in nature, in those industries FI cannot work properly. That's why FICA, FICA was introduced back in 1995. So back from that, before that, what used to happen? FI could not handle this parallel processing, this huge. I mean, they did not have this parallel processing feature. Okay, we'll talk about what is parallel processing. Just understand that it smoothens the work, that whatever transaction takes place, it can efficiently handle. I mean, dividing into multiple parallel processes and processing all the parallel batches in one shot. So that type of feature are not available. So they used to do monthly billing. Okay, so 31st of every month or 30th of every month, the billing will happen. So because this could not happen, I mean, they could not handle it efficiently. So after that, FICA came into the picture, where this daily billing, daily payment, daily collection call. So whoever does not pay on due date, nobody will manually remember and nobody will send them a reminder letter or phone call, automatic phone call. So all this feature FI cannot handle. I know FI has dunning. Dunning means collection call, but if the volume is huge, it is very difficult. Or paying via outgoing payment, incoming payment, or if a customer doesn't pay, late fee needs to be charged, or if a customer requires installment plan creation, security deposit, all these thing, all these item could not be handled in FI. That's why FICA was introduced. Financial accounting, contract account, receivable, payable. Why contract accounting comes into the picture? Because there is a contract between the company and the between the service provider and service receiver. So when you take a electricity connection, there is a contract. That means uh, that say contract means there will be uh, your bill will be due in 15 days since the date the bill is sent to you. So if the bill is sent to you on 9th, it will be due in 15 days. Okay, so around 24th it will be due. So this is one contract. What other contract means? Agreement. What other agreement is that there? If you don't pay on 24th, you'll be given 3 days of grace period. Say on 26th, sorry, 27th. If even after 27 the bill remains unpaid, then there will be 2% late fee charged. Again, this is a part of agreement. So when you sign in, all these agreements are there. You have gone through all the agreements and you sign your name, I mean, above the dotted lines. That means you're agreed to a contract. Okay, you enter into an agreement. But when you buy from Amazon or Flipkart, there is no such long term agreement. Okay, so there is a 7 days return policy. That's it. Once the 7 days expires, nothing. I mean, you cannot do anything. You have to call the customer care, and the products. Say you have bought a Samsung mobile, you have to call the Samsung customer care. Amazon doesn't have to do anything. So there is no contract. That is why contract accounting, the name was evolved. Like whenever there is a contract, like if you say you have taken a gas connection, whatever gas like Adani or whatever gas producing company, they agree into a contract that you have to pay a security deposit. The security deposit will be released after say 12 months. Okay, and whenever it is released, say 1% interest will be paid to you. So all those contracts comes into the picture. So that is where FICA is helpful in and it helps FI in this area. So what will happen in two examples? Suppose I have FI and I have FICA. So think about this scenario. I have classic FICO. So what will happen? I'll get the invoice. Customers will get the company will send the invoice. Then the payment will happen, and all these financial transaction will hit the balance sheet and income statement directly. But if there is no, if there is FICA, then what will happen? This invoice and payment will be posted in FICA first, then it will be sent to FI, okay, FIGL. This invoice, all the invoices will be summarized. Okay, say in a single day, 5,000 invoices are posted. All of them will be summarized and sent to FIGL. Similarly, say 3000 payments are collected, so 3000 payments will be summarized. So when it goes to FI, you cannot check, okay, which customer in I mean, what is the invoice for this customer. It will not, you cannot identify. You can see that what is the total number of invoices, I mean, what is the total revenue booked. Whenever any invoice is raised, invoice will tell you what is the total sales amount, what is the sales amount per customer. Okay, but if you want to see the per customer wise invoice amount, you go to FICA. But if you want to see what is the total detail summarized, then you go to FIGL. Similarly, the payment, so all the FICA posting, so all posting will happen in FICA first. Is there a question? Someone wants to ask a question? Okay, so please raise your hand if you have a question. So here what will happen, all the financial transactions will take place in FICA first, then it will be summarized and go to FIGL. That way the balance sheet will reflect all those information. Okay, so this is a sub ledger kind of thing. One of my past participant, he mentioned, I just gave an example to him, and he told um, that example he'll never forget. So I'm gonna give that example here as well. So why, I mean, let's understand this different with an example, FICO versus FICA. So sometimes it happens that you go to an airport, you offboard from the flight, and the flight gets directly the flight, the plane is parked right after the boarding area. So the flight stops, you just get down from the flight and you gets into the you go to the checkout where you get the luggage. This is FICA. But sometimes it may happen that the airport doesn't have any free place. I mean, all the all the boarding areas are occupied. So then what will happen, the flight will get down in the middle of the airport, and a bus will come, collect you, and the bus will drop you at the checkout area. So the bus is nothing but FICA. Okay, so all the posting, instead of going into directly into the checkout luggage collection, that area, you the plane, since the plane doesn't have any free parking space, it stops at the middle of the airport, and there will be a bus which will collect all the passengers, and it will deposit or drop all the passengers into the parking area, or into the luggage collection center. Okay, so this example he mentioned that he will never forget. So I don't recall whether I have given this example or a ship, same thing happens in the ship. In the ship as well, luggage ship, if it doesn't get a in the port, if it doesn't get a dock, if the dock is fully occupied, then smaller ship goes, or sometimes it may happen whatever parking area is available, the bigger ship cannot enter. So some smaller ship goes and collect all the luggages, and that way it never requires to hit the dock. Okay, so FICA is just receiving all the information, then it sends to FIGL. Okay, so recording the transaction into FICA is not enough, because I have to move it into FIGL, because the balance sheet, the whatever I told, that financial accounting, the reporting happens at financial accounting at FICO. So whatever posting I'll make, I have to send it to FIGL, so that FIGL reflects the correct financial statement, financial position, because from here the balance sheet and profit and loss income statements are derived. Okay, so um, this now it may happen that a company may have both accounts receivable in both FICA and FIGL. I'll give you an example where you can understand. Say the company, say same electricity supplying company, the customers who regularly pays the electricity bill or consumes internet, their invoice and payments gets posted into FICA, and that goes to FIGL. But similarly, there can be some other sales. For example, the company is selling some device. Device means the meter, or whatever,
Hello.
different device. Yes,
Hold on a second.
Suresh. Yes, Suresh, tell me.
See, here I have one small doubt. Like you said,
Sure.
like invoice will be created in FICA, right? If
Mhm,
we implement FICA,
mhm.
okay. But all invoices will be created in FICA, or any specific scenarios will be created in FICA.
all invoices will be created in FICA.
Okay, there is no invoice created in FICO directly.
No, no, no. I'm coming to that part. The some
Okay.
invoices will be, very few invoices will be in FICO. Which invoices will be in FICO? Where this contract does not happen. For example, the same company is selling some device. For example, let's talk about a Wi-Fi. The company provides Wi-Fi. So regular customer who are recharging, their invoices coming from FICA. But if the customer wants to buy a router, so router is something which is not repetitive. So one time purchase, one time payment. So this type of invoices will get posted into FICO. But the regular customer, these invoices will post in FICA, then it moves to FIGL, FI. Okay. So you need to distinguish which customers are my regular customer that will come from FICA to FI, but which customer are not repetitive, but maybe one time customer, those will keep on posting in FI, the traditional ones. Okay, say a
Okay.
laptop, the laptop got
Mm.
scrapped. I'm selling the laptop. My business is
Okay.
not to sell laptop. My business is to sell electricity, water, gas, mobile connection, telecommunication, okay, services, subscription. These are my business. But I want to sell some scrap laptop or some furniture, old furniture. Those transaction will happen in FIGL. Okay.
Okay. And if the same customer, like as you said, like a router example, right? The internet connection and a router initially. In that case, like we need to create the same customer in FICO also, right? To create a one-time invoice for the router charges.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll show you how
Okay.
you do that separately.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So similarly, this is all about AR. Now, can I have AP in FICA? Yes, we can have AP in FICA. Mostly what happens, the suppliers are very few. We purchase from few supplier, but we sell to lot of customers. Okay. So the volume is higher on the AR side, accounts receivable side. That's why mostly the accounts receivable side is kept into FICA. But my my like the from whom I procure services or I procure goods, they are very less. I don't have to. I mean, they don't send me regular invoices. I don't have to make regular payment. If that is a scenario, then I can keep the AP side into the traditional FIAP or FIMM route. But the moment my supplier becomes I mean, I have a lot of suppliers and I have to make daily outbound payment. In that scenario, I can have AP side into FICA as well. Okay, for example, in this example, so you, all of you are my customers. So I have 15 customers. Okay, I see 15 participants has joined. But who is my vendor? My vendor is the guy from whom I have rented the servers. So I have only two vendor. So one vendor sends rent. I mean, supplies the ISU server. The other one supplies the Brim server, because my ISU vendor charges higher price for Brim and my Brim vendor charges higher price for ISU. So I'm getting the same server, but I should go for the cheaper one. So I have only two vendor. So if I have only two, very few vendor, then I can keep the vendor part into FI. Or if I have large number of vendors, then I have an option to put the vendor part into FICA. This is the first scenario where I can have AP into FICA. Second scenario is a scenario which is used in BRIM, which is called revenue sharing. What is revenue sharing? Revenue sharing means whenever I purchase something from whenever I sell something, but I have to share a part of the revenue with my vendor as well. That is called revenue sharing. So, for example, in telecommunication, I mean, we just implemented um, a telecommunication project into Indonesia. My Thailand project is not went live, but the Indonesian project has gone live. So they are using telecommunication. What is the scenario? So like our Geo, they have one. This company is providing internet in entire Indonesia, B2C, B2B. into domestic customer, into offices and all. So now the scenario is, suppose there is a complex. In a complex, these many customers live. Okay, so in a complex, in a housing complex or a housing society, say these many customers live. Okay, out of these customers, say these 3 houses are rented. Okay, the customer is they are staying in a rented place. Now whatever internet they will consume, the our client has to pay 10% of the total consumption into the landlord. Okay, that is the scenario where I have to, share the revenue that that I am getting from the customers. But since they are staying in a rented place, I have to share it with the landlord. Okay, in that scenario, even though my landlords are few, but since I have to do this revenue sharing, I have to bring my AP into FICA as well, or I have to bring my AP into subledger as well. Okay, because if my AP remains into the FI side and my ARs are in um, subledger side, then the mapping is difficult. I mean, there is no standard process to do the automatic revenue share. As long as my AP and AR are in the same box, I can do the rev share easily. Okay, so these are the two scenario where AP can be part of FICA. And mostly in utility, the APs are not created into FICA, but sometimes in BREEAM only, whenever this requirement is revenue share comes into the picture. Revenue share can be in different scenario. I told you one scenario. Similarly, um, say say toll plaza. I am in my Thailand project. It's for toll plaza, toll maintenance. So whenever a car passes from a toll, he has to pay toll, but the toll revenue is shared by the government and the toll company. Okay, so suppose the company leased the toll collection part. So whatever they will collect, maybe 5% they will keep, or maybe say 10% they will get paid to the government, and 90% they'll keep, whatever the agreement they have. So there also this partner settlement, this revenue sharing comes into the picture. In this scenario as well, FI AP can be accounts payable, can be kept into FICA or subledger side. Okay, any question till here? Okay.
So in this case, for example, vendors are there, or in case of production sharing, so we have to create in means FICA role also and in FI role also, right? When we
you, may-
create the business partner.
you may not create in FI role, because
Okay.
everything happens within FICA itself.
Okay.
Okay,
So in
so
case of production sharing also, it's not required. We have to just create into FICA role.
what is production sharing?
No, it's not production. This
Revenue
some
sharing?
revenue sharing or provide. Yeah, some. Yes, correct.
Yeah, whatever I'm collecting from customer, if I have to pay a certain amount to some vendor and I can retain the rest, then I have to create in FICA only. It is not required in
Right.
FICO.
Okay. Okay. So the concept wise, whether this sharing is there or not there, whenever we create vendor or we create the customer, we have to create in FICA only. There is no requirement to create in means in finance side, these customer and vendor, right?
Yes, yes. Do not create the masters, because whatever example I'm giving here, I'm talking about 2 million, 3 million, 10 million customers. Now, if you create
Mm,
those many customers into FI as well, then
mm,
it will be very difficult to handle. Okay,
mm, mm.
so
But
everything
only
invoice PDF, everything gets generated from FICA. Okay, there's a
Okay.
question.
but customers like a business partners, we can only the roles only we have to create now for that.
Yes, only the roles. The roles will determine whether the BP you can see in FI or in FICA, in subledger or in GL. Based on
Hmm.
whatever role you assign, when I go to the BP, create the BP, I'll explain.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
But it's good, Subhadra, you clarified. I think that's a good point. So in this case, at least we have to create business partner, and in finance we can only see the reconciliation account, not the customer account or vendor account, right?
Yes, yes, yes. in the finance you will see the AR or AP. You don't require to see the customer wise.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, no issue. So Ganesh, since you raised this point, let me explain this reconciliation part as well. So there are concept of reconciliation account, especially if you are not from finance background, I must inform you. So suppose I see 15 participants. So I have 15 customer. One, two, let me, okay, I have 15 customer. Now, if I want to see what is the balance of each customer, I'll see in FICA. Say I want to see customer 3, how much do I need to receive from customer 3? I can run the report in FICA and I'll see, okay, customer 3 will pay me this much. Say I go to customer 8 and I see customer 8 has paid all his dues. Or I go to customer 10, I see customer 10 has paid me in excess. That means I have to refund fee amount back to this customer. So customer wise report, if I want to see, I'll go to FICA. But in FI, I will not see the customer wise report. I will see a reconciled, I will see a summarized report. Okay. So I will see that what is my total receivable. Okay. So it may happen that each customer owes me this much. Okay. So in FICA, I will see, okay, each customer, how much I need to collect. But in FI, it will show me the summation, that is 511. If I want to see what is my total receivable from all the customers, I'll go to FI and I'll see, okay, my total receivable is 511. That means I have provided services worth 511 and I have not collected money. Okay, so or maybe I have raised invoice worth 511 for which I have not collected money. So if you want to go to the detailed information, you go to FICA, and if you want to see the summarized information, you go to FI. So reconciliation account is such an account where all this information is stored. If you run the report of the reconciliation account, it will give you 511 into FI. But if you want to see customer wise report, you enter, there will be I'll show you the T code and all. There will be a T code where you will enter the customer number 4 and you'll see, okay, I need to collect $80 from this customer. Or customer number 6, it will tell you that, okay, I need to refund back $5 to this customer. Okay, so this is the concept of reconciliation. Same thing happens in the, I talked about AR side. Same thing can happen in the AP side as well. I have 15 vendor as well. I can have. So if I want to see the each balance of each vendor, I can run a report and see how much do you have to pay. Vendor means accounts payable. How much do you have to pay to this vendor? But if I want to see what is my total payable, total accounts payable, I'll go to FI and I'll see my accounts. I'll run the report of the accounts payable GL. That general ledger, that GL account will tell me what is the total receivable. Okay, so just don't be confused with the general ledger, GL and all. I will explain everything once we get into the system. Okay, so with that, let's go to the system and let's start the configuration. Now, first, okay, sorry,
So
I must,
just
yeah, sure.
so
Please
one
tell me.
question. So yeah. So here, as you said, the AR is maintained in FICA. So suppose for a utility company which is providing the electricity, so they also have employees, right? And they have to make the payment like salary and other expenses.
Mm, mm.
So where they basically maintain so these things, is it in FI or can they maintain in FICA itself?
I have never seen employees are being maintained into FICA. They are mostly handled from the HR module, and from the HR with FI, the integration from HR integration. From HR, it is integrated with FI. So HR will tell how much salaries needs to be paid to each of the employees, and accordingly, the posting happens into FI. So that happens in FI only. Even though the customers are these are actually vendor because they are payable. Even though they are huge, there are daily periodic payment, but we have a dedicated module called HR module. From that it is handled. It is not required to be done in FICA. Okay, why
Oh,
FICA is needed is in FICA we have like there is an engine which calculates. So if it is electricity, there has to be a module which will tell how much electricity is consumed. Okay, a dedicated module. If it is in subscription industry, there will be a module. I'll talk about all those modules. That module will identify how much consumption charge I need to bill. Okay, so HR is that module for employees. So that tells, okay, how much is the payment. Maybe there are some night shift, there will be some bonus, quarterly variable pay in different companies. So all those engine is available into HR module, and HR will directly talk to integrated with FI. So HR will handle this. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now before I go to the system, I realized I must tell you the industries where FICA is used, and what are the different modules are there. FICA is not the sole module. There are different modules, and let me explain that properly. So if you are from utility background, so I have already explained that utility is one such example, which is called IESU, Industry Specific Solution hyphen Utility. ISU. Okay, it is one module. The first FICA, it is more popular in ISU. It started with ISU only, utility sector, where companies distribute electricity, gas, water, sewerage, etc. Okay, so this is ISU. Apart from that, there is a module called PRIM, which is also using where the FICA is also used. What is this? Billing and Revenue Innovation Management. It is called BRIM, and in BRIM, companies which provide subscription. Okay, so subscription, say Netflix, Amazon Prime, all those company, say LinkedIn Premium, Money Control, antivirus like Quick Hill, okay, AVG or whatever. Those companies provide subscription. Say SAP, whatever server I am buying, if I say I'm just a retail trainer, think of a company. The company, they will need how many users, how many SAP licenses they will need. So the service provider, they how can they manage all these things? They manages this in BRIM. So say Tata Consultancy Services, TCS. So they have these many license, these many sandbox, these many quality, these many production, and in each server, different business transactions are activated. Some is for central finance is activated, somewhere RAR is activated, somewhere BRIM is activated, like different REFX, flexible real estate management, different component has to be activated. So what is the license fee? So all of them are handled into BRIM. Okay, so BRIM has separate engine which calculates that how much uh, at the end of the month, how much billing, how much invoice should be raised. Okay, so subscription based industries use BRIM. Then what else? We have PSCD slash TRM, public sector collection and disbursement, and TRM stands for tax and revenue management. So here government, if see think of government's point of view, they have so many assessees from which they have to collect tax. Assessees means not only normal assessee, there can be direct taxes, there can be indirect taxes. So sometimes the government can create each of the taxpayer as a business partner. Okay, so somebody, so we salaried person, our TDSs are deducted. So um, or a businessman, they have to pay tax. So similarly they will calculate, okay, what is the tax payable amount is the invoice, and tax paid amount is the payment. Okay, so they can also calculate how much tax needs to be collected, because there are also huge number of assessors there, and each customer will have direct tax, indirect tax, GST, lot of taxes are there. Okay, what else? There can be telco, telecommunication. Okay, we'll have less than 1 minute. Please join back for the last segment of today's session. So telecommunication, again, lot of mobile